What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast. It is PGA Championship week, the second major of the season. From Southern Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm your host, DB. I got my co-host, my partner in crime, my main man, my best buddy, my buddy old pal, P. Perry with me. Pat, you ready to get down with the PGA Championship tonight? What you drinking, buddy?
I am very excited. Local brew called Scattered Sun. I've been in the sun, by the way, today, DB.
Have you?
Mhm.
I can
Yeah,
tell. You have that.
yeah,
You have that glisten. It looks
yeah.
lovely.
Scattered Sun, Southbound Brewery here in Savannah, Georgia, and it's good. It's kind of like a Blue Moon, but it's actually brewed with an orange peel.
Mm. I love orange stuff. I have
Yeah,
an orange in my drink tonight, and it's a little ranch water, a little tequila, a little Topo Chico with an orange in there. I'm ready to get down, get busy. We just watched the Byron Nelson wrap up as KH Lee defends his title. No one saw that coming. I don't think I saw anybody betting KH Lee this week, but we're excited to get on with the show tonight. We did a full comprehensive preview of Southern Hills and all the changes that Gil Hanse made in the restoration in 2018 and 2019. You can catch that on.
excellent work, by the way, DB.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. I highly recommend.
You do. Okay.
Hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. It's in the podcast feed, and it gives you everything you need to know about 18 minutes about how Southern Hills is going to play. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great event. Strong field, strongest field of the year. A lot of good storylines. And I tell you this, now it's Sunday night. We're recording this a day earlier than we normally do. Pat, have you looked at the wind forecast for the week yet?
I have not.
Oh, buddy.
No.
It's gonna be blowing, blowing. I
Mm.
saw some gusts up to 48, 45 miles an hour just here on Sunday night, projected for like Friday and Saturday in Tulsa. It could be a bloodbath at Southern Hills, and I am pumped to watch it. But everything you need to know in terms of how the course is going to play and what we think you need to, we need to, put a lot of value on in terms of handicapping players here is all in that video. But let's get to it, Pat. Let's talk about the top of the board. As always, we're presented to you by our friends at Covers.com. Winning starts at Covers. Join over 25 million sports bettors annually that hop on Covers.com and check out all the free tools, all the free resources. Since we are recording this on Sunday night, we don't have top 20 lines. Those have not dropped yet, so we'll make sure that those will be covered extensively in our exclusive Covers article that drops every Tuesday afternoon on Covers.com for free, where we give you some head-to-head matchups, some top 20 matchups, maybe a prop bet or two that we like. All that's free. You can get it on Covers. Check it out. The top of the betting board, Pat, there was a name that, you know, we threw around. Okay. We threw around last week on Twitter in the Nut Hut, and I hope you jumped on it. We'll cover him in just a second. But John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy topping it all off at 12-1, followed by Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa at 14-1, Jordan Spieth at 20-1, just finished runner up to KH Lee and at the Byron Nelson. Cantlay, Hovland, DJ, Cam Smith all at 22-1. Xander and Shane Lowry, and we're looking at DraftKings odds here. But we're definitely going to tell you where we think the best numbers are right now. But that's the top of the board, and the name that was tossed around in the Discord server and among me and among you and producer Sam and Ben, I think on like Friday that we need to be on the lookout for is Jordan Spieth, and we just saw Jordan finish runner up. I talked to Jordan in the press room at TPC Craig Ranch, asked him about his trip to Southern Hills. And he had a few interesting things to say, but he went to Southern Hills last Monday and played a practice round, his first time seeing it, I believe. And he mentioned how much he loved the golf course, but he went and got a little reconnaissance done. And now we are just seeing this guy play absolutely out of his mind, almost back-to-back wins. RBC Heritage, he won there and could have won today at the Byron. He was at 25-1 when we started talking about him on Friday. He's now down to 20-1. I could see him getting shorter than that. Word on the street is producer Sam has confirmed that if you're finding him on DraftKings at 20-1 or other books, even shorter than that, if you have access to WinBet, you can still get Jordan at 25. And I would do that right now. Well, I'll start it off and say Jordan is, to me, the prototypical player for what I want here at Southern Hills. Great approach play, great around the greens. I went into it ad nauseum on that course breakdown show about around the green play going to be extremely important here with what Gil Hanse has done and the short grass around the greens. And Jordan's a wizard. He's just a wizard. And Pat, did you notice watching this golf tournament that he seems like he's added some distance? Like he was
Yes,
like
you know,
180-mile-an-hour ball speed.
actually, not just watching it, but they were talking about it on PGA Tour Radio, just listening to, the broadcast on Friday, how he was hitting it a lot longer, which was surprising to me. So, yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, I mean, if Jordan's added distance and in form, like you better beware because I think this is a great spot for him. So he's a first click for me at 25 to 1 without a doubt. Along those same lines, like I think Cam Smith at 22 to 1 is a name that I really like. And I know we haven't seen a lot of Cam Smith. I guess we saw him last at the RBC Heritage. We saw him at the Zurich before that. Everyone was kind of surprised he missed the cut at the Heritage. It was kind of a weird week for him. Like he lost, you know, 4.4 strokes between his scrambling and putting,
Well,
which
you
is
did see him win at the team event.
they didn't win the team event this year. That was last year.
Him and Xander won the team event.
Patrick Cantlay. I'm talking about Cam Smith. Pay attention, Pat.
Oh,
It's a
sorry. Yeah,
major week. Can you pay
sorry.
attention for are you in the chat already? Is that what
No, I had Cantlay on my mind because I was about to talk about him.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about Cam Smith and I like
Anyway, go ahead.
again, when you're thinking, the other thing about this golf course, like the fairways are generous. They're not Augusta National wide, but they're generous. And, approach play and scrambling and getting up and down and playing tough golf courses, like that is Cam Smith to a T to me. So Cam Smith at 22 to 1 is another click for me. The best number I can see for him is on DraftKings at the moment, unless producer Sam fires in a better number elsewhere. But I like that. And then finally for me up here in this top range, if you want a shorter name, JT at 16 to 1,
Mm.
uh, which I think is on FanDuel. Yeah, you can get JT at 16 to 1 on FanDuel right now. With the way he's playing, I mean, God, it just seems like it's been so long. I know since JT's won a golf tournament, much less a major, but everything is there. Like everything is there, and you got to feel like it's coming at any point. So I'm tempted by the JT number 16 to 1. That would be it for me, up to 25 to 1 in terms of the favorites. That's it.
Yeah, and so we have agreement here right off the top with Jordan and Cam Smith. I have both of them written down here in the under 25 to 1 range. But the guy I was thinking also that it was a little bit different was Patrick Cantlay. I do like Cantlay this week. Um, I think one of the things that when I was listening to your course preview that really stuck out to me was just the long iron play that I think you're going to have this week on this course. I mean, it's 7,500 yards plus, par 70. So they're going to have a lot of long irons into these greens. If you look at proximity stats for Cantlay, especially like 200 plus, he's top 30 in the field. But then across the board, he checks the box in ball striking. He is fifth in the field in putting on bent grass greens. So I think Cantlay, at 22 to 1, coming off that win too at the team event, almost won at the Heritage also. So I like Cantlay at that 22 to 1 number. But the two other guys I had were Jordan and Cam Smith also. And I don't mind the JT play if you're going shorter than that.
Yeah. Cantlay, I'm looking at too. One of the things I'm pulling this week that I don't look at every week on Fantasy National is an around the green rolling report that just kind of shows you last 4 rounds, 8, 12, 24, 50, and 100 rounds and where they rank against the field in that category around the green. And I think it just gives you a good picture of long term to short term and any sort of trends there. And Cantlay just checks all the boxes there, and just about every range, long term and short term. He's always been a really good player around the green. So I definitely think Cantlay's interesting. I wonder if he'll be. I feel like Cantlay could be that guy in DFS that maybe gets a little overlooked.
Yeah, I
But I
agree
think
there.
I think he's for sure live at that number. So interesting stuff there. So who we staying away from, Pat? Who we avoiding up here in this range specifically? Like who would you not be able to get talked into? They're all studs, but no matter what, who are you absolutely not betting this week?
Well, yeah, I hate to be giving you so much love, DB, on this show, but
Oh God,
another thing that I gleaned from the course preview that you have on YouTube is, the patience that these guys are going to have this week.
mm,
This is going
know
to
where
be a
you're going
tough
here.
test. Yeah, this is going to be a tough test. Now you're bringing in, talk of wind and everything else. John Rahm as the favorite, I just don't. I mean, yes, I know he won in Mexico. He should have won in Mexico. He was basically playing in the Corn Ferry, field event. But I don't like him on this course, and I think that he's going to be frustrated out here. He's certainly going to check a lot of boxes, that's for sure. So I mean, it's John Rahm. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's as good as he is for a reason. But I don't want to play him as one of the favorites. I'd rather, if you're going to play the favorite, then just go with Scotty to go back to back on majors. I don't want to go a 12-1 Rahm when I got Scotty right there next to him if I'm going to play a favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he has gained strokes. I was looking at the around the green play with him. He's gained strokes around the green in only 2 events in 2022. Two measured events in 2022, which is not good. And one of the things that Gilhan said is like it is inevitable at Southern Hills, no matter how well you're hitting it, you will miss greens here. You're going to get a gust, or you're going to think you've hit the proper shelf on these greens, and it's not going to do what you think it's going to do, or it's going to suck off the green, suck back and then roll down 20 yards, 15 yards, or into a bunker. And like, that's where that patience and that, kind of grinder mentality comes in. And I think John Rahm can do that. It's not that he can't. I mean, he's a killer. But I think, the potential for him getting hot under the collar with some potential tough breaks at Southern Hills that everybody's going to get, in addition to the some of the recent play around the greens for me. I knew you were going there. So
we've got all these stats out here that we can come up with.
Yep.
I mean, Fantasy National even came up with opportunities gained to tell you when.
Great stat. Great stat.
Love the stat. Strokes lost, like strokes lost mentals, strokes lost frustration, something like that. Like I would love to see that. Like what happens like after the player gets ticked off or throws a club, like what is their next shot or something. Like there's some sort of variable here where we could figure out what happens when somebody gets frustrated. I think John Rahm would be number one.
Strokes led triggered or something. Yeah. Hey, listen, thank you to Timothy Presley. Dropped this little super chat. Thanks for the KH Lee. You won a top 10 on it. So nice nice hit there, Timothy. Thanks for watching. Hey, listen, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The comment for tonight is I want to know the big name on top of the board that you're avoiding. At the top of the board, that 25-1 range or shorter, who's the name that you're avoiding? I want to know. We want to see who in there is who in there is people not liking, people not interested in. I got to say this too, Pat. The major championships are big weeks for us. It's always some of the more popular shows of the year. We get people that listen that don't always listen every single week, and we can attract new listeners here because the golf world's getting a lot of attention. And one of the things that you can really do to help us out is leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can also leave reviews on Spotify. But if you would leave us a 5-star review and write up something real nice, and if you've done it in the past, that's okay. You can do it again, and Apple kind of refreshes things. But that helps boost us for this week and kind of puts us in front of people that maybe we normally wouldn't get put in front of. And that helps us, helps the show, and helps you. So drop us a 5-star review and leave your Twitter handle, your Instagram handle, or your email address, and we will randomly draw one of you, and we'll ship you a brand new Tour Junkies driver head cover, or you can get a Southern Hills t-shirt of your choosing if you want one of those. Pat, we do have Southern Hills t-shirts, and unfortunately, if you order now, you won't be able to get them. You won't be able to get them in time. But here's the t-shirt. That's the back. We've got them in all kind of different colors. If you're watching on YouTube, you can check this out. And then there's a little Golby on the front pocket there, so you can hit up one of the t-shirts here. So we'll ship you a free t-shirt, or we'll send you a free driver head cover. 5-star review. Make sure you include your Twitter, Instagram handles, or your email so we can get in touch with you. What about before we get out of the top of the board, Pat? What about Xander going stupid low today?
Yeah,
on Sunday at the Byron Nelson. What did he shoot, like 8 or 9 or 11 under today or something?
yeah, just enough for everybody to get on him, and then for him to disappoint you.
Oh, is that what you're saying is going to happen? I mean, he gained strokes across the board at TPC Craig Ranch. I'm looking at it here. Almost 3 putting, about 1 shot around the greens, 2.5 approach, a little over 1.
Forget how easy this course was.
Very easy course. Yeah, very easy course. So can I interest you in Xander at all? Or are we out on him 25-1? I guess if you're gonna bet him, if you're gonna bet anybody at 25-1, I don't know.
No, but I mean, do you think? I mean,
and what about Morikawa? Like, what do we think about Morikawa, one of the best iron players in the world? I don't want to.
I like Morikawa. I like him this week. I might like him more though in DFS. I don't know if I want to do 16 to 1 on him or I guess yeah, 16 to 1 is the best I see. Um,
You
but I
know,
do like Morikawa. He kind of I would in my mind. I just was thinking Morikawa really wasn't playing that good, but that's not really true. He has been playing pretty well lately. I mean, he had a fifth at the Masters. I don't know why he's just sort of been out of sight, out of mind lately for me, but I think he still could be a pretty good play. We're also not even talking about Victor Hovland at all.
yeah. So why are we not talking about him? Do you think?
Probably because of scrambling. Probably because of that.
And
But
I think that's another weakness of Morikawa that, I mean, statistically, and again, going back to this rolling report on Fantasy National, I mean, Morikawa is almost statistically almost as bad as Victor Hovland, like very near, close to being as bad as Victor Hovland across the board in every range when it comes to strokes gained around the green. But these are also two of the best iron players
say they may
in
not
the
have to
world.
scramble all that much because they just hit greens.
Yeah. But like I just said about John Rahm, like you are going to have to scramble here. Like there's no doubt about that. You have
Yeah.
Victor Hovland with the Oklahoma State connection, being these guys are premier ball strikers. So
I
they're
guess
both.
we don't have the numbers to see what Morikawa did at the National, which would be interesting to see what he did by finishing 5th.
You can look at that on Data Golf. Data Golf still has that up, I believe. I may can find that. But I
Maybe.
mean, do we think? I mean, I guess if somebody wants to bet on these guys, I would not talk them out of it. Like it's just they're too good of ball strikers. I just think I'm gonna go with guys who I can trust around the greens when the winds are blowing and howling, and you're sure to be boned. Like you're just no matter how good you hit it, you're just gonna be boned. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing with Morikawa is we did just see him win an Open Championship last year, which tends to be somewhat windy there. I don't think though it was a little bit benign when he won. I want to say could be wrong.
So I got his master stats pulled up. He gained .95 strokes around the green, so almost a full stroke. 1.33 on approach, about a half a stroke off the tee at the Masters. So I mean, yeah, he chipped well at Augusta. I mean,
Yeah,
this place does have similarities to Augusta too in terms of the terrain. There's not a lot of flat lies anywhere. You've
I
got
think there's a
these
lot of similarities.
Yeah, yeah, you've got these big greens with a lot of undulations, a lot of runoffs and stuff. So there are some similarities for sure. I mean, I'm not going to talk anybody out of a lot of these names here. Um, so we could probably move on. Before we move on, obviously it's a big week. It's major time in Tulsa. Golf's second major of the year. From tee to green, get in on all the action for all 4 rounds with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can place any $5 bet on who's going to win. You can play single round matchups and more, and you get $100 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. So just new customers sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook, place that $5 bet on an outright or single round matchup and all this other stuff, and whether the bet hits or not, you get $100 in free bets as well. I love some top 20s. We'll talk about a lot of these guys throughout the week. If the sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still drive for show, putt for dough with DraftKings daily fantasy golf contest. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes this week. How huge? Over $10 million. Easy to play. You pick 6 golfers, stay under the salary cap, and submit your lineup before the tournament tees off on Thursday. Obviously, we break down all the DraftKings DFS stuff in the DFS show coming up after this one tonight. So we'll get into that. Don't miss out on all the action this week at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use code Tour Junkies at sign up. Bet $5 on golf's second major and get $100 in free bets. No matter what, that's code Tour Junkies, all one word. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay. There you go. There you have it. DraftKings Sportsbook. Shout out. Good sportsbook there. Let's keep moving, Pat. Let's go down to this mid range, which there's a lot of players in discussion here. Like, a lot of our shows, we want the long shots to hit. We bet the long shots. We have more in that like 75 to 130 and 130 to 1 range or longer. This week, I feel like this is where you're going to hit your long shot here. Major championship week, you're just not likely to have 150 to 1 winner. But we've seen it done for sure at the PGA Championship. I mean, hell, Y.E. Yang took it from Tiger one year, right? You got Will Zalatoris, Daniel Berger at 35 to 1. Joaquin Niemann, who just had a good weeks at 45. Max Homa coming off his victory at the Wells Fargo is 50 to 1. Tigers in the field, 65 to 1. Sam Burns, Russell Henley, Bryson's probably not going to play, I would guess, 65 to 1. Tommy Ladd, 70. Louis, Sergio, Cam Young, Keegan Bradley, also all at 70 to 1 here. So a guy who's in that range, and I see a question popping up here in the live chat. We can go ahead and talk about this. Brian Farmer asks, I know Koepka has struggled and he's had a little bit of an injury, or that's why he withdrew this week from the Byron Nelson, but is he an auto bet at 40 to 1 in a major? Pat, what say you? 40 to 1. You didn't bet him last week at Craig Ranch at 35. I asked you specifically about him.
And then he withdrew.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any real injury concern with him, is there? Not that I've seen.
I was on site for the withdrawal. I heard no one talking about like a legitimate injury, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah.
He did not have a presser. He wasn't in the press center. He wasn't in the media center. Nobody heard from him. They just withdrew. So he could be really struggling, or he could have just said, I'm out. It's hot, and I'm going to go to Southern Hills or whatever.
I mean, I have a hard time feeling like, he's going to win this week. We haven't seen him since the miscut at the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he played in the team event, did he? With his brother or whatever, trying to get his brother on tour.
No.
But 40 to 1 feels pretty good about it. Like I could see just throwing a few bucks down on it, but I still, in my mind, I don't think he's going to win. I don't think his game is there right now. I just don't.
I don't think his game is there either. So I think it's a no for me, dog. I think I'm out. I don't think the game is there, even if he is healthy. He's not been great. I mean, if you look at the two big tournaments, right? Big tournament Brooks, the Masters and the Players this year both missed cuts. And I mean, he may have been on that really sucky weather draw at the Players.
He was on the bad side of that draw. So.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to touch it. There's a lot of names in here that definitely get me more excited than that. Another guy with an injury situation that, I mean, I'll just jump around here in terms of odds, but another guy with an injury situation that we've been monitoring for a lot of the year is Daniel Berger, who's at 65 to 1.
Man, never mind. Go ahead.
We're not copying off each other. So I mentioned I asked Jordan about Southern Hills in the press center last week. He mentioned, so one of the questions I asked him was, give me a player who has an underrated short game, a player who's, I talked about him and Cam Smith and Scheffler and some of these guys, and said, everybody knows you guys have a great short game. Who's a player that you think has a short game that doesn't get enough chatter? And he mentioned specifically one player, and it was Daniel Berger. We saw him finish 21st at the RBC Heritage, where he lost almost 3 shots around the green, but that's neither here nor there. Berger has had some success in PGA Championships in the past. It's kind of been boom or bust for him. A couple missed cuts, a couple of almost DFLs, and then like a couple of top 15s. But he's had some success at U.S. Opens. He's got 2 top 10s at a U.S. Open. And he had a top 10 last year at the Open Championship. I mean, he's a major caliber player, and the irons are certainly, can get really hot here. So I kind of like this 65 to 1 for Daniel Berger on FanDuel. That is a big number for him. He's much shorter a lot of other places. So I think you pound Daniel Berger. Hopefully he's fully healthy. I do know also, I did learn this last week, Pat. He's had a caddy change. He let go of a caddy. And he has had a caddy change, and it's a good caddy. It's a really good caddy that he's picked up. I can't remember the name, but I talked to a couple guys about him. So something fresh for Berger. Hopefully he can get a good start. But 65 is a really attractive number to get on him.
Yeah, I agree. I had him written down as one that I really like.
He's 35 to 1 on DraftKings. Right?
35 to 1. Yeah. I will say the best number for Hideki Matsuyama is 40 to 1 on DraftKings, and I do like that. I think this is a great fit for Hideki. I think 40 to 1 is a good number if you can get that right now. Look there. So I'm not even looking at the chat just for you, DB, but Alan comes in here and says that he's a fan of Hideki. By the way, Sam's throwing up. Sam is just really on top of the numbers today. He has 55 to 1 Hideki at win bets, which is amazing. So,
WinBet giving a lot. Yeah, if you got access to WinBet, there's some
yeah,
big numbers out there we need
it's
to get on.
WYNN, I believe, as
Mhm.
well. So I do like Hideki there at those numbers. If you can get 55 to 1, get it. If not, pounce on the DraftKings number at 40 to 1. Couple others though. I think Shane Lowry, he's just been playing so
Yep.
well this year. And I know that he's not pulled through with a win, but he's just been so solid. This is a great course fit for him. He's 35 to 1. That's the best number I see him at. And I think that may be on DK, right? Could be wrong.
Lowry's 33 to 1 on FanDuel.
Yeah. Um, so I think Shane Lowry is he's 35 to 1. I don't know what sportsbook that is. Anyway, so I like him. I like Max Homa. 66 to 1 is the best number I've seen for him coming off of that win at the Wells Fargo, which played very difficult. And I think I think Homa at 66 to 1, he just seems to be riding in with a lot of confidence. Look, I mean, the guy's a winner. I mean, he's now won what 4 times on tour, and I feel like he can break through with we see a lot of breakthroughs, by the way, at the PGA Championship. That's kind of a theme
Yeah.
we've seen, and I think that Max Homa can do that this week. If you're looking at the stats for him, I mean, dude is top 10 in proximity, 175 to 200 yards. He's fourth in strokes gained off the tee. He is top 10 in strokes gained approach and ball striking. So all of those are looking good for him. Homa is, I believe, a very good play this week.
I'm a little worried about his scrambling, just a little bit. Like long term, he's not a great scrambler. He's
He's
certainly
not, yeah,
he's I'm a little worried about that. There's a lot of red numbers for him on Fantasy National when you look at it, but you can also scroll through and see like when he is scrambling well, he tends to do it in bunches. And it looks like he's gained strokes scrambling in maybe 3 of his last 5 tournaments. Let's see what he did at Augusta actually. Yeah, see at Augusta he lost a full stroke around the green. So that means that in his last 5 events he's gained strokes around the green in 3, but most recently in the last 2 he's not. That worries me a little bit for him. Like even though the irons are hot, it does worry me a little bit. Because I think that can hold you back from winning. I mean, like late on a Sunday, you got to get up and down a lot or whatever. And I do think he's ready to compete in a major for sure. I think he's ready to take one down. I mean, when you win the Genesis and you win the Wells Fargo at TPC Potomac, I heard a lot of guys talking about that this week at Craig Ranch, like how tough that course was and conditions were, and like it had a little bit of a major vibe to it.
yeah,
Um, when you win there, you're certainly ready to win a major. I think that's a for sure thing. Um, but I just feel like Southern Hills is like going to be the greatest test of your touch around the green, and especially if we get winds at 30 and 40 and 45 miles an hour. So it may just not be this one. Again, I think he's a good value in DFS. I don't know that I want to bank on him to close the door, but 65 to 1 is also a pretty attractive number for a guy arriving in great form with 4 PGA Tour victories and checking all the other boxes. So it's probably worth a shot. A guy that I was really excited to bet on before, and I'm still excited to bet on him, but he definitely kind of crapped the bed today at TPC Craig Ranch, and that's Joaquin Neiman.
oh, I knew
Um,
you were going there.
yeah, and I had a bet on him to win. Would have been nice to see him get that done. Just did not go low enough today. Did not have enough birdies at Craig Ranch, but traditionally a very good scrambler, obviously a really good iron player. The you know the guy can flight it under the wind with that little bullet drive he hits. It's just so sexy. Let's see what he did here at Craig Ranch. I mean, god dang, he lost 4 shots. That's round 4. Okay. So for the event, he was positive putting, positive around the green, lost a half a stroke on approach. That probably happened today. And positive for off the tee. Yeah, he lost like over 2.5 strokes on approach today, which is not great. Don't love that. But I do like Joaquin Neiman. 45 to 1 is the best number you can find on him. I think that's on DraftKings. And then another really long number on a guy that, we're probably not used to seeing long numbers on. And this is a range that we're going to spend some time on because there's so many good names in here. Sam Burns is at 65 to 1 on DraftKings, Pat.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Sam Burns. I mean, let's not get
oof,
too
yeah,
concerned about his Masters start because it was the first time he played there. So
yeah. Um, definitely, definitely a guy who can get hot, can play tough courses. He missed the cut on the number, I think, at TPC Craig Ranch, which is a little weird to see. But 65 just feels like a good one. If it gets too much shorter than that, I probably wouldn't touch it. But 65 on Sam Burns is good. Anybody else in this range up to 75 to 1?
um, just kind of looking through here. I mean, I mentioned my favorites here, so I don't. I'm scared to say this name, DB. I'm
Hmm,
scared. I'm scared, but he hasn't been playing that bad recently.
okay.
Do you have any interest in Tony Finau?
Oh, um,
Because you're getting some pretty good numbers on him. I mean, 65 to 1, I believe
is
on
that a good number? I don't know. Like, is it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's improved lately.
Let's see. He
You
does
have
have a
that second at the Mexico. He's made 4 straight cuts, which I know that doesn't matter when you're thinking of.
he's got a good PGA record. He finished 8th last year, at the Ocean Course. He finished 4th in 2020 at the PGA. He finished 10th at his first PGA back in 2015. Um, let's see, his US Open record, he's got a 8th in 2020, a 5th in 2018. Is either miscut or top 15 at a US Open. So that's pretty solid. I mean, his major championship record is very good. His Open championship record is incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he does tend to show up at majors. It was very strange to see him gain 8.2 strokes in Mexico and then lose 7.7 at Wells Fargo. Like that's alarming to me. But it was also really nice to finally see his scrambling come back to where he's used to having it. I don't know that I want to bet him to win though. Like, is he in
That's the
form
thing.
to win? I don't think
I
so.
don't know if he can win. I mean, if we're just, he could. I mean, he depending on what his odds are for a top 20, it could be real. I mean, that could be a really good play because he does, like
His
you said, plays well in in majors. But
He's 11 to 1 to top 5 on DraftKings. That's all they have up right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could pull the trigger on that to win. FanDuel has Finau at 65 to 1, producer Sam says. I don't I, I don't think I could do it. Do we really think he's gonna close the door? I don't think so. You guys tell us in the chat if you think it's gonna happen.
yeah,
Here's a name, here's another guy that we're waiting on the win. We're waiting on the first PGA Tour win, and he's in this range. Fitzpatrick at 41 to 1 on FanDuel. Um, what do we think about Fitzy?
see, I think the same way with him that I do with Finau. Like, I don't think he's gonna win. I don't think he can win. I love Fitzy this week. Actually, I love him. I think I'm gonna just play more of him though in DFS than I am
He's
gambling
so
on.
hot right now, though. Like, he's hot.
No, I get it. I just don't know if he wins. When does he ever win?
He
Like,
doesn't win.
it's
He
like
doesn't.
Finau.
He hasn't won.
So that's why I think like I would rather
He's
play him in DFS, which we'll talk about later, than betting him to win.
he's got a decent major championship record. It's not as good as Finau's, but it is decent. He's just playing better than Tony Finau. But windy, like crappy conditions, grindy kind of
Plays
conditions.
good on tough. By the way, Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Amateur on this golf
There
course.
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So he's got a little magic, huh? I
yeah,
mean, hey, that's a positive. 41 is probably a two, not as it's probably not a good enough number, honestly. It, unless you just if you really like him, you could fire on it. It's probably not the best number for Fitzpatrick. Um, all right, well let's move on to the next range, Pat. Talk about some long shots. Before we do that, there has been some stuff going on in the Nut Hut that we need to address because it is serious business, and people's lives are being altered in the Nut Hut for only $10 a month or $90 a year. It's our Discord server and it's popping. All right, and we talk about all the different channels and the Wednesday night live chat every week with me, Pat, AC, other sharp players, right, that are in the Nut Hut. But we also talk about these different channels that we have, and we have a PrizePicks channel. And this past week, Pat, listen to these numbers. AC, our boy AC, our Nut Hut Butler,
Amazing.
has been on fire with the PrizePicks stuff. Okay. If you have paid for a Nut Hut subscription and taken advantage of the PrizePicks channel, you have more than paid for your subscription to the Nut Hut over and over again. Because just this week, AC's posted picks in the PrizePicks channel prior to each round of the golf tournament, he was up 50 units based on those selections. 50. 25. He hit 25 of 28 PrizePicks plays over the final 3 rounds of the Byron Nelson. When I say he hit him, like he published before the round started where you could go, if you were in the Nut Hut, you could go see AC's plays and then go play them yourself on PrizePicks and tail him. He hit 25 of 28 over the final 3 rounds. And he said that Nut Hutters posted screenshots of their PrizePicks winnings, and of the posted screenshots, he figured up 131 plus units won by Nut Hutters that just posted screenshots. RJ Miller, AC's the GOAT. Dude, AC, I mean, your fantasy golf sommelier videos are great. They're hilarious. They're entertaining. They're informative. You've got good picks on there. You give 3 to 4 picks a week for round one, and they've been doing well. I've been putting my Thursday round one PrizePicks plays in the heavy petting email that if you're subscribed to the Chalk Bomb, you also get the heavy petting email on Tuesdays. We've won 3 out of the last 3 weeks since I started it. But AC is raking the cash for people. So if you
He
guys
really
haven't joined the Nut Hut, or you're looking for a reason, that is the only reason. I swear to you. If you do the $90 yearly, you will pay for that in a week. In 1 week of golf, just tail AC. Don't even worry about anything else. Tail AC's PrizePicks plays, and you'll win your $90 right back. And then it's free money, okay? Or it's $10 a month if you just want to be cheap. But I'm telling you, AC's on fire with the PrizePicks stuff, and PrizePicks is going to be dishing out a bunch of great props this week. We're pumped about it. They don't have them out tonight, so we won't be able to hit them at the end of the show. But again, I'll put my favorite Thursday, PrizePicks props in the heavy petting email. So make sure you subscribe to that. If you've not already, you can subscribe in the description of this show below, or you can go to tourjunkies.com/chalkbomb and subscribe to both the Chalk Bomb and heavy petting email. Pat's FGS video will be up, I'm sure. Maybe we can get it up early, Pat. Maybe you can do that Monday night instead
I
of
might try to do it tomorrow night since we're not, doing a show. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow night.
the lines will change too. So you
Yeah,
got to jump on that early. When Pat drops the FGS, you got to jump on that.
get on them. Yeah, I was a benefactor of AC's calls for Saturday. So
Yeah,
it's it's
you won some money.
it's fantastic.
Yes,
By the
by the way,
way, let me mention this before everybody comes on me, down on me for being wrong. Fitzpatrick did not win at Southern Hills. He won at the Country Club in
Brookline,
Brookline. So it was the US where the
wrong,
US Open is going to be next week. So
wrong major. Yeah. Okay. By the way,
for next year.
fun
Or-
fact that we've not dropped for everybody, but we will be doing the U.S. Open podcast from Scotland on a golf trip. That
Ooh,
should be interesting. Um,
very
I was gonna
interesting.
say, by the way, the FGS video last week, Pat, where you sang the porridge and the peas song.
Uh-huh. You didn't even
Did you
comment on that with me. You didn't even text me
did
and
you
say,
make that? I was busy this entire week.
okay.
This entire. Did you make that up, or where did that wacky song come from?
No, Google it. Google
No, I don't want to Google it. You just tell me.
it's a nursery rhyme.
Good Lord, that is a terrible song. That was a terrible song.
The reason it came up was because I was reading some tasting notes on
Yeah.
Tito's vodka, and it said something about porridge, and I said, I think there's a nursery rhyme about porridge, and so I just I just searched it on YouTube, and that's what came up.
Dude, that song was ridiculous. All right, let's keep moving.
Okay,
Up to 130 to 1. Some long shots here. I got 3 names. I think one name you're not really gonna like. I'm gonna start with the longest. I'm gonna work backwards.
I have
On
4 names.
FanDuel.
So
Okay. On FanDuel, you can get Keegan Bradley at 100 to 1, who has won the PGA Championship before, nearly won the Wells Fargo a couple weeks ago that Max Homa won. He should have won, honestly. Should have won that. Has just continued to play really, really well. I like Keegan here. I think this is a good spot for Keegan. Obviously, he's a great iron player and pretty underrated, I would say, around the greens. When you look at that rolling report, like I mentioned, uh, really good. I mean, except for his 4 rounds at TPC Potomac, he's been fantastic around the greens. Long term, last 100 rounds, 50, 24, 12. Like, he's been really good. He's a good player around the greens, and obviously, he's one of the best iron players on the PGA Tour. And I think Keegan is ready, dude. Like, Keegan has a look in his eye. I know he kind of coughed it up at Wells Fargo. I can't believe he gained almost 10 strokes putting. That was it's ridiculous. That was the tied for the second most strokes he'd ever gained putting in his PGA Tour career, which is probably not doing me any favors in selling you on why you should play Keegan.
Yeah, I don't think
But
that's sustainable.
but he had kind of an off week on with his irons, and an off week for him is just gaining 1 stroke. Like, normally he's averaging much more than that. And he also lost strokes around the green, and he rarely does that too. Like, I just think a lot of things are clicking for this guy. He could have won the Players, right? Could have won the Wells Fargo. I just think 100 to 1 on FanDuel, 100 to 1 is a mighty long number for Keegan, and I bet that's a number that gets bet down before this week is over. I'm going to go ahead and say, producer Sam says there's a few 125s out there with Keegan at other books. So if you can find 125, I love that. I just there's not many names in here. There's only 5 names that I have over 75 to 1 at all. And so you're not going to get a lot of those. But I think Keegan is one that the guy just feels like he is ready to slam the door. And he's been on tour long enough that, like, he can do it at a major. I just know I mean he did it at a major, but I'm saying, like, he can get it done. A guy that I also think can get it done, and this, it sounds crazy to say it because it doesn't happen often where a guy's first victory is in a major. But Cam Young is tough to
Mhm.
avoid. He's 80 to 1 is the best number I could find for him on points bet. The off the tee play is incredible. Also, if you look at his around the green play since he's got on the PJ Tour, it's exceptional. I mean, it's very good. Look at his around the green play in the last 4 events. He's gained like 12 shots around the green in his last 4 events. Um, the guy's just been unbelievable. Bent grass greens, he's good bent grass putter. Grew up on bent grass at Sleepy Hollow, but I mean, runner up at the Sanderson, coming out the gate hot, rookie. Then he gets a runner up at the Genesis, big field, Tigers event, big stage. Third at the Heritage, second at Wells Fargo. Like, this guy, I don't think he cares whether or not I don't think it's gonna be any different. Like, whether he plays a major and contends to win, or he plays the Wells Fargo. I think this guy's just a killer, and he'll get it done if he's feeling it. So I love Cam Young at 80 to 1. And then I like Billy Ho
Oh, Billy
at
Ho.
90 to 1 on points bet. I believe is the best number that you can find for Billy Ho. Let me make sure that's correct. Yes, that's the best number you can find on Billy Ho. But he's checking some boxes. I like you know, a guy that avoids bogeys, gain strokes off the tee with a combination of distance and accuracy, good around the greens. Yeah, so I think Billy Ho at 90 is a name that is interesting when you start getting in this range and you think, like, who can actually close the door. I think Billy could if he were in it. So that's it for me in this range. I got 2 more long shots after this, and I'm done.
Okay. Well, I am actually with you on Billy Ho, which is maybe who you thought I wouldn't like. But I like
Really? Yeah, I thought you were not gonna like
I
that.
like Horschel this week. I've seen him at 110 to 1. Bet 365 has him at
Uh,
110 to 1.
are they are they that accessible around in the States? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I'm just telling you where I see it. Anyway, so I do like Billy Ho as well. Can I interest you in some Jason Day at 100
Nope.
to 1?
No, you cannot.
He's been playing well lately. And he's a great scrambler traditionally. He's won a PGA championship before. I think 100 to 1 Jason Day is a pretty good play. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
so I
I mean,
like him
100
there.
to 1, whatever. I can do that.
I also like Jason Kokrak. I'm seeing him at 130 to 1. That's the top end of this range here that we're talking about. But I think Jason Kokrak, makes some sense here. He has won on a Perry Maxwell design, which is Colonial. Um, he played well at the Masters. I don't know where he finished this week. He was playing well for a little bit, but I just think Kokrak.
I don't think he played that great this week. Let's see.
Did he
Oh, no,
not?
yeah, he did. He finished 17th. Gained strokes across the board except for around the green. Lost to like a third of a shot around the green. That's it.
He's not going to really check a lot of boxes for you, other than if you're looking at like stats like bogey avoidance, which I do. Bogey avoidance is one of those that I just kind of throw in there when we get these difficult courses, major championships, things like that. So I like that. He does putt well on bent grass greens, so I think Kokrak at 130 to 1 could be a pretty good play there.
Okay. All right. You want to hit me with the bombs over 130 to 1?
I think there's several in here that we can look at. Okay. One is now, this guy's sucked lately. He really has. The Patrick Reed at 150 to 1 just makes me want to take it. I don't know why. I don't like Patrick Reed at all. But I just
150 to 1.
Yeah. So that's so much for him.
What do
He's
the people in the chat think about Patrick Reed?
Yeah, Patrick Reed, I think regardless if you hate him or not.
150 to 1. Say it out loud a few times. 150 to 1.
150 to 1 Patrick Reed.
It's interesting. 150 to 1.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying it till maybe it starts tasting better in my mouth. I don't know.
Another guy played well this week. It's also Alex Noren is 160 to 1. I think there's a lot in here, actually. Sebastian Munoz is 175 to 1.
No, like I started to look at some of those names, and Sebastian obviously played really well this week. But then when you start to really think like, okay, closing the door, killer on a Sunday at a major in tough conditions, who's getting it done? It's not Sebastian Munoz.
Yeah.
I do think Alex Noren is in play.
Yeah.
I like the Alex Noren call.
I like Noren. Couple others. Adam Hadwin is 200 to 1. Adam Hadwin.
Same thing. See, that's the same thing. I think the same thing with Munoz. Like, okay, say it out loud. Sunday late in a major, he's fighting off Colin Morikawa and Jordan Spieth and Cam Smith and all the guys in my lineup. He's fighting them off. And Adam Hadwin's going to do it.
I mean, he might. Did you think that who was that guy that won?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, why Yang? I mean, last year, remember Kevin Streelman? Remember we did the meme about what it would look like with Kevin Streelman holding the Wanamaker trophy. Like, I get that can happen. Hell, Phil won here last year. I get it can happen. It's just it's a reach, I think, for some of these names in here. Like, if I'm going to get a name in here, I want it to be a grizzled veteran and a killer. And I don't see Adam Hadwin as that.
Okay, well, this guy's not a grizzled veteran either, but he is kind of a grizzly-looking dude, and he's won recently on a very difficult course. Sepp Straka is 250 to 1. I think Sepp, this is, for a guy to break through and win a major, I think he could do it here.
That's getting long enough with that territory that I could bite on that. I don't love it, but it's interesting.
Okay, well, before you bite on anything, DB, I need to talk about lawn care. Okay, lawn care is very important to me. All right.
Yes.
Now we're getting into the summer, and people, you need your lawns to look good. Okay, nobody wants to ride by your lawn and you got this crappy looking lawn and you're not even doing anything to try and make it look good. Okay, you're just sitting out there, you're looking at it, and that gives you no, personal pride in your yard, but you're just looking at your crappy looking yard. So you need to get Sunday. All right, DB. I use Sunday. It is fantastic. It's easy to use. They give you this attachment that goes on to a hose, and you just spray it. It's easy. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to mix anything. You don't have to worry about the chemicals that you're putting on your lawn because it is all safe chemicals. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or the nasty chemicals. They have custom plans that include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn, and with ingredients like seaweed, iron, molasses, you can feel good with kids and pets being around. Okay. If you got a pet gerbil that you like to get out there on your lawn and it's fine. That pet gerbil is not going to get hurt by anything in the Sunday lawn care. Okay. All you have to do is visit getsunday.com, put in your address, and their lawn analysis tool does the rest. Then they tell you, like, they look at the soil, the climate, and they get this data, just like we're trying to get data to help us pick good golfers. Okay.
Yeah.
They give you the data to help you get some good fertilizer. It's delivered to your door when you need it. So throughout the year, they deliver what you need according to the time of year, your soil, your grass, whatever else. It's delivered to your door. Okay. Like I said, you just attach that ready to use pouch. Takes less than 15 minutes. Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Okay. Full season plans start at just $129, and you can get 20% off at checkout when you visit getsunday.com/junkies. Okay. That's 20% off your custom plan. Getsunday.com/junkies.
Look at you, Pat. You're like the spokesperson for Sunday Lawn Care. You're doing well for them.
I
Your
love it. It's good stuff.
your
Yeah.
yard's doing well with them. People are loving Sunday. We got some feedback on some listeners that have been using Sunday, and that's been good for them. Props to you, man. You're delivering to Sunday. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Now
Um,
you deliver these bombs for us.
I you named one of them, and it was Alex Noren. Completely agree with you there. The only other one I have, and it's a gut play. There's not a lot of data to back this one up. He doesn't have a great major record. He's played in some majors, but he doesn't have a great major record, and the stats aren't great. Okay, but to me, when I think killer Keith Mitchell at
Oh,
150 to
yeah.
1. The long hitter, the guy can definitely, he can play in the wind. He's a ball striker. Um, he's just kind of hit or miss is the problem. So that's it. I mean, I just it's a gut call on him, and I like the number at 150 to 1. If he were 100 to 1, I'd probably say no, but 150 to 1, I'll take it. But I do like the Norton call. In fact, Pat, let's talk about our favorite bets. We mentioned a lot of names. Let's talk about the guys we like the most, the guys we think you need to get on right now, the numbers you can get them at right now, and the books that you need to grab them on. If you're watching this right now, we've seen this week in and week out. A lot of times, the better number that you can find on a lot of these guys is sometimes early on Monday if you shop around on these books, and you can do that through looking at covers.com and checking out some of their free tools and the odds checkers they have and all that kind of stuff. You can see where the best numbers are. You got a forum with over 500,000 members in the forum you can bounce ideas off of at covers.com. So let's give our favorite bets, and I think I'll start with the bombs. And I think we just mentioned him, Alex Noren at 150 to 1 on FanDuel and PointsBet is worth looking at right now. He's having a really good 2022. He can definitely get it done in windy, tough, grindy conditions. Alex is just kind of one of those type of players. I think that's just a long number that is worth a little. It's worth a flyer. But Keegan Bradley at 100 to 1 is my next favorite number. 100 to 1 on FanDuel. And I think producer Sam mentioned that there was 125 out there somewhere on a certain book. So you can shop that one and figure that out. But Keegan at 100 plus, I love it. I love Keegan, honestly, at 75 to 1. As good as he's playing right now, as hot as he's been, as close as he's come to that next win, he has won a PGA championship before. I think Keegan is the next one in play. And I'm gonna go with Daniel Berger next at 65 to 1 on FanDuel. I think that's consensus there. I mean, we see Berger at 35 to 1 on DraftKings tonight. He's 65 to 1 on FanDuel. If he's 100% healthy, which assuming he's close to it, and I'm sure we'll hear from him before the week is over in terms of press conferences and stuff, like he's a lock at 65 to 1. That is a outrageous number for Daniel Berger given his approach play, his strong around the green play. I love that. Um, and then I'll give you one more, and I'll let you hop on here. The Joaquin Niemann at 45 to 1 on DraftKings is still a good number. I think you could have gotten it at 50 or 55 maybe prior to the third round at the Byron, but 45 to 1, I still like it on DraftKings for Niemann, a guy who can hit that penetrating little piss missile driver, that rolls out like 340 in the wind. Solid iron player, underrated around the greens, really good around the greens. He didn't play well around the greens today, but historically a pretty good player around the greens. And I think he's a winner. And I think he could, this is a young kid who's won multiple times now on the PGA Tour. I think he can close the door on a major. And 45-1 on DraftKings is where you can get that one. What you think?
Yeah, no, I like it. I'll start on the shorter end for me, and I got to go with Jordan Spieth here as one of my favorites. Even
Yep.
we mentioned 25-1. You can get him there on some books. Even if it's 20-1, I don't care. I just think that this is a week where I really feel like we could see Jordan win with just the way he's been playing lately. So I like him a lot. I like Shane Lowry at 35-1 or in that range. Another guy that, especially if we get tough, windy conditions, I think that could play into his hands even more. So Shane Lowry there at 35-1, I like. You thought I wouldn't like him, but Billy Horschel at around 100-1 in that range, I
Yep.
think he's a fantastic play. A grinder, a guy that can play well in tough conditions. That just has is able to he's his irons have been better, good around the green game. Everything about Billy Horschel, I think, is sets up well for him to have a good week. Um, you know, Bombs, Noren was my favorite play, so you kind of took that. But if I want to go even longer, I'll go with Sepp Straka. I think Sepp Straka is a guy that is ready for a breakthrough win in a major. And you know what? We've seen that with the PGA Championship. Okay. So Sepp at 250-1. There you go. There's a
I'm
bomb for you.
surprised. Did you say Hideki?
I did not say Hideki.
I'm
I
surprised
mentioned
you didn't
him.
say Hideki. I kind of left him for you because we found Hideki at what, 65-1 on or no, 55-1 at WinBet. He's 40-1 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I almost took him, but I liked
That's
Lowry as a favorite a little bit more. So
Yeah, I mean, I like Lowry, but Hideki at that number is good. I mean, he just played really well at the Byron, just continuing to play well. Always been a great
yeah,
scrambler.
no,
Always
I
been a great
mean,
iron
yeah.
player. If you can get on that 55 number at Win, I think you need to get it. So that's some of our favorite plays. Early leans presented by Covers.com. Winning starts at Covers. Pat, before we get out of here, the last thing I want to talk about is Tiger Woods.
Woo!
Tiger is supposedly in this thing, right? And he came to Southern Hills a week or two ago and got escorted around the course by the director of golf or head pro there. And of course, Patrick Reed's or is his father-in-law or wife or whoever runs Just Use Golf Facts or whatever went bananas. But what do we think about Tiger this week? What do we think the odds are that he makes the cut? I mean, I'm sure there'll be some Tiger prop bets out there. I don't see anything on him right now. In terms of outright odds, he's 60-1 on DraftKings, which is, I mean, what do we think? Is Tiger making the cut here? What are we doing?
I certainly think he can make the cut. I'm not going to take him to win. Um, we're just not we're not seeing enough of him yet, and we're not going to until maybe next year. But I do think, I mean, Tiger is, this course sets up okay for him in his game, and if I mean, how do we ever doubt that Tiger can do anything after seeing him make the cut at the Masters when we hadn't seen him in over, almost a year and a half? So I think he can certainly make the cut. If you can get a really good number for that, I would probably take it. I don't know what the numbers are. I haven't even seen it.
Sam just said his outright on win bet is 105-1. So Win's just discount. They're just Walmart, the Walmart of sports books this week.
Yeah.
Maybe they are every week. I don't know. So like to see what Tiger did at Augusta is great. I mean, finished 47th or whatever. But that is Augusta, right? And like he knows Augusta so well, and that's an advantage that he has there that he's not going to have here. Um, so I think we got to remember that number one, he didn't gain
Well, he's
strokes.
won here,
Well, yeah, that was in 2007. It's a
but
totally
I
golf
know it's a
course.
different course, but he's still won here. So
Yeah, totally different golf course. I do think this. We haven't mentioned this about Southern Hills, but I think Southern Hills is not quite. I mean, it could play 7,500 yards, but I think it's going to play. That was something that I talked a lot about with some people, some caddies and stuff at Craig Ranch this week, looking at the yardages and stuff. Like we always give these yardages, and the tour will give these yardages like tipped out. If they tipped out every freaking hole,
yeah,
it would
yeah.
play this number, and they just don't do that. And I know the tour doesn't run this event or this setup, but they're not going to do that here either, especially with wind conditions the way they are, which I think helps Tiger. I don't think it needs to be if it's a 7,500 yard par 70. I don't think that helps Tiger at all. So But when you think good iron play, when you think scrambling, I mean, that's certainly things that Tiger's good at. I think he could make the cut. I don't think the upside is much better than that. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would if I would bet on him to make the cut. So
What number would it have to be for you to bet on him to make the cut?
I don't know. What do you think is going to be like plus 180
I was
or
thinking
something?
like plus 150.
You've got 156 guys in here. 20 of them, 20 plus of them are PGA professionals. You've got another 4 or 5 whack jobs. You've got the Euro contingent. Top 70 and ties make the cut here, so it's different than a regular tour event where 65. So yeah, maybe it's plus 150, between plus 150 and plus 180, I guess. I don't know. I would take it, I guess. Anything over plus 150, I would take it.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun with it. Thanks. That's it for us. That's the betting show. We're going to knock out the DraftKings show, the DFS show. There's going to be a bunch of more content coming on the YouTube channel as well this week. A ton of free articles going up on the tourjunkies.com blog. Don't forget the 2 emails to subscribe to those, and the 5-star review to get a free driver or putter head cover, whichever one you want. We've got some new ones over there at tourjunkies.com. You just got to leave the 5-star review on Apple and put your Twitter handle, your Instagram handle, or your email in there so we can contact you when we draw a winner at random. Let's have a great week for the PGA Championship and Southern Hills, and let's